Good evening, European Confessions. I am back with another episode. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and the message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi. How are you? Can you please post my own story? I was waiting for my mom to come back home, and on that day, the streets were dark. I still remember that it was raining. This whole thing happened during the rainy season. Suddenly, the drops of water started to fall down from the sky. When I was still waiting for my mom, there was a lot of lightning. I was scared because my mom used to tell me that when she was still young, she saw another house being hit by lightning. This was after her mother, my grandmother, had an argument with their neighbors. After they had insulted each other, my grandmother said to her neighbors, I want to see who is stronger. I want to see who is the strongest between me and you. On that day, my mom said it was a clear sky, but all of a sudden, the clouds started to gather. This was after my grandmother had insulted her neighbors and she had threatened them, saying, I want to see who is stronger between me and you. After those dark clouds had gathered, then it started raining. It just rained, she said, maybe for about 5 minutes or so. Then suddenly they saw that their neighbor's house were hit by lightning, and that lightning struck about 2 to 3 times, and all of her neighbors' houses started to burn. You know, in the villages, they used to have these thatched round hut houses, and all of them, they burned on that day, but no one died. So as the lightning was striking all around, I was really scared because my mother used to tell me that my own grandmother, she knew how to create lightning. So I ran back inside, but I was afraid. I was troubled in my heart. I kept on asking myself so many questions, and there was no answer to my questions. My mother, where was she? When I got inside the house, I struggled to sleep. My mom didn't come home on that night. The next morning, I heard a loud knock on the door. I jumped fast from the bed, hoping to see my mom, but unfortunately, it was the police, and they asked me who I was with in the house, and I said that I was alone, even though my grandmother, she was there. But at that time, my grandmother was really old, so old that she didn't even understand a thing. She was like someone who was already losing her mind. So when the police asked me who I was with in the house, I said I was alone because my mom didn't come back home last night. So they asked me if I know anyone of my relatives. That's where I took them to. I took them to my sister's house, and they told her that my mother had an accident and she died on the spot. By that time, I was already 16 years old. I understood what had happened. From now on, I was almost like an orphan because my mom had passed away. Growing up, I never knew my father because I was told that my father had passed away when I was somewhere between 3 to 4 years. Most of my mother's relatives, they used to tell me that my father was once a rich man. He used to stay in the city. Then my mother was staying in the village, but there was something that happened between my father and my grandmother. They had a very big argument. On that time, when my father had came to visit my mother in the village, it seemed as if my father had chosen to take another wife because my mother had only given my father 2 daughters, me and my elder sister. So it seemed as if my father wanted to take another wife, hoping that he will have a son of his own. So they had a very big argument, my grandmother and my father. People from the village used to tell me that, don't you know that it was your own grandmother that killed your own son-in-law? Because after they had that big argument, like always, my grandmother then threatened my father and said, I want to see if you'll be able to drive back to the city in peace. If you drive back to the city in peace, then it means that I am no longer a witch. I will throw away all the things that were left for me by my own grandmother. The person who told me said that my father didn't believe in this thing of black magic. So my father got into his car, then he drove back to the city. But before my father could even reach the highway, he was still traveling on this certain dust road there in the village. That is when some of the villagers found out that he had had an accident alone in a dust road. They just found his car, it had hit a tree. By the time that those villagers found my father's car when he was involved in that accident, they tried to save him. But in our village, there was no ambulance and there was no hospital anywhere nearby. My father just died. I was told that my father died a very painful death because he was stuck in his car. A lot of villagers rushed to his car trying to save him, but all of them failed. And before he died, that is when he said that his own mother-in-law, my grandmother, had gave him the threat, and she had said to him, if you return to the city and if you drive back to the city without facing any challenges along the way, then it means that I have to retire. I will throw away all of the things that were given to me by my own grandmother. Then my father died. Everyone in our village was afraid of my grandmother. I was left with my mom and my sister. My mom was someone who used to run around. She was just someone who was working as a maid in the city so that she could take care of me and my grandmother and my sister. But I still remember a lot of things that my grandmother used to do. There were days when my mother could not visit us in the city. She would just send some money to us. But whenever my grandmother would receive that money, she used to take that money, then she will put it in a clay pot. I don't know why. She would just put a single note in that clay pot and it will stay there in that clay pot until the next time my mother will send us money again. Even before she would give me money to go and buy, she would pretend as if she would be praying. After my mother had passed away, then that is when I started to have a lot of dreams. I was dreaming about my late mother coming to me and telling me that I should run away from my own elder sister. About my elder sister, when we were growing up, my elder sister was so close to my grandmother, but my grandmother hated me. I don't know why. She favored my sister above me. Before my sister was married, I used to sleep alone because my grandmother didn't want me to share a bedroom with her, but she preferred to share her bedroom with my elder sister. I was young. Even when I was somewhere around 8 years, I used to sleep alone, but my elder sister used to sleep with my grandmother even when she was around 20 years, because my elder sister was married at the age of 21. She used to sleep with my grandmother. I don't know why. It seemed as if my grandmother had chosen my elder sister so that by the time that she will die, she will leave all of her black magic in the hands of my elder sister. My elder sister is someone that we can say has a cruel heart, even the way that she treats her husband. That is why I don't even like visiting my elder sister. The way that she insults her own husband, it seems as if she did something to her own husband, because no matter how hard she insults her husband will just remain quiet. There was another time when I had paid a visit to my elder sister. I saw her hitting her own husband, and that didn't sit well with me. So after the death of my mother, when I started dreaming about my late mom coming to me and telling me that I should run away from my sister and finding somewhere else to stay because she was planning to kill me, I began to understand that there was a thing that was going on between grandmother and my elder sister, because my elder sister used to come and stay with us, yet she was married. This was unheard of. Sometimes she will stay with me and grandma maybe for 2 months. After 2 or 3 months, her husband used to come at our place. Then she would ask our sister why she had chosen to do this. But I remember that grandma used to insult my sister's husband. She will say that you didn't even finish to pay up her bride price, so why do you want to go back with her? Then after 2 or 3 days, my grandmother would ask my elder sister to return back with her husband. The way that my sister and my grandmother used to treat my sister's husband was not good at all. Then there was this other time when my elder sister had a very big argument with her husband, and her husband relatives, they were also involved in that argument. They chased away my sister and they said that you have to go back to your people so that they can teach you how to live with your in-laws. So she came back, my elder sister. She was just carrying her bag because she doesn't have any children at all. When she came back this other night, she called me. Then she gave me this wooden plate that we use in the village when we are doing rituals to the ancestors. She gave me that wooden plate and she said that I should put it underneath my bed because she wanted to fix everything that was going bad in her marriage. And since I was still a virgin, I had not yet slept with any man, I was still pure, she was going to use my energy to fix her broken home. I didn't want to refuse because my sister had this tendency of being violent towards me. So I took that wooden plate, then I placed it underneath my bed and it was facing down. Then she gave me a very small bottle that was filled with red liquid. This bottle had a tag on it. It was written holy water, and she said that I must put this water in my lotion. All of this was for her to fix her broken marriage. I didn't understand why my sister was making me to do all of these rituals. She told me that this was a way for her to speak with our ancestors. She just said, I am not pure. I have done a lot of stuff. That is why the ancestors cannot speak with me directly. But please, can you help me to speak with my ancestors, especially with our father? It seemed as if each and every time when my sister will be asleep, our father would visit her in her dreams. Then our father will start attacking her. I don't know what kind of evil things she was speaking about, but she just said, I am not pure. That is why I cannot speak with our ancestors directly. Every time that they visit me in my dreams, they always try to attack me. But if you do this ritual for me, I will be walking behind you, and every time when they try to attack me, they will see your pure face, then they will feel sorry for you. So I used this holy water. After I had used that holy water for about 3 days, because she said for 3 days, please, my dear sister, use this holy water when you are bathing. After those 3 days, on that night when I was fast asleep, that is when I saw a very strange animal. This animal, it looked like a man, but at the same time, it was an animal. That man walked into my room. Then I told my sister early in the morning that I had this dream, but this dream, it seemed as if it was a vision because I saw this animal. It was entering into my room. When I told her, she ran to where grandma was sitting underneath the tree. Then they spoke. I don't know what they spoke about. After that, my sister came. Grandma had given my sister money. Then my sister said, let us go and visit this certain Sangoma for a solution. I told my sister that I wanted to wash my face and brush my teeth, but she said, no, there is no time. Let us go there. So we visited this witch doctor who was famous in our village at that time. He was a male witch doctor. We went there, but to my surprise, when we went there, that man just called me into this other room which he claimed to be his consulting room. But when we entered into that so-called consulting room, I saw that the man was just lying to me. It was actually his bedroom. When we were in that bedroom, then that witch doctor said, remove your clothes and your undergarments. And I tried to refuse, but I was afraid of my sister. So I removed my clothes and my undergarments. Then that witch doctor said, sleep on this reed mat, and that is what I did. From there on, he knelt down beside me. Then he started to do some strange rituals, and he was touching me all over. And he said that I have been shown by my ancestors that inside your womb there is a lot of fat that needs to be removed. If this fat that is inside your womb is not removed, unfortunately, by the time that you will get married, you won't be able to have any children, because that fat that is inside your womb has filled up your womb such that you won't be able to carry a child inside your womb. I was scared because of the way that he was speaking with me. That witch doctor was violent like towards me. So he removed his undergarments. Then he opened my legs. I wanted to cry, but he looked at me and I could see that his eyes were filled with anger. That is when he gave me an instruction to suck his private parts. And this was so painful for me because his private part was filled with blood after he had took my virginity. After that, he said, it is done. I went outside. Then I told my sister. We went back home, but it was difficult for me to walk because I was in pain. On that same night, I started hearing funny sounds inside the room. That is when I started noticing that whenever I would wake up, I would see a shadow as if someone would be standing right next to my bed. This was so scary for me. And whenever I would tell my sister that this is what is happening to me, she will just say, you are just scared. There is nothing wrong with you. Then on this other day, early in the morning, she came into that room that I was sleeping. Then she took that wooden plate that she had given me. I don't know where she went with that wooden plate. She never explained a thing to me, but she just took it like that. After a couple of days, I was surprised when I saw that my sister's in-laws, they came. And when they came, they actually had cows, and they said that they wanted to ask for her forgiveness. So my sister told me that I had to go and call our relatives because her husband's relatives, they had came so that they can ask for her forgiveness. And that is what happened on that day. They gave her a cow that was slaughtered on that day. Then they gave our relatives a lot of money. Then they finished off the amount that had not been paid the first time when they had came to ask for my sister's hand in marriage. Then my sister went back with her husband and her husband's relatives. Now, this is what is happening to me, Brother Nashi. I don't know how I can solve this thing. I am someone who just hates wearing a nightgown or pajamas. I don't know why. Whenever I try to wear pajamas, I feel as if those pajamas that I'll be wearing, they'll be crawling all over my body, such that I'll end up removing those clothes that I'll be wearing. But the moment that I remove all of my clothes, I will feel like there will be someone who will be touching my body. It seems as if this spirit that is tormenting me wants me to sleep naked each and every night. Even if I try to sleep whilst I'll be wearing an undergarment, when I wake up, I don't know why this thing happens. My undergarment will be pushed aside and I will feel this sensation on my private part as if someone will be sucking my private parts. And when I wake up, I would feel that I really need a man, such that I'll end up pleasing myself using my finger. And when I start pleasing myself using my finger, I won't be able to finish until I am exhausted. Sometimes on a single night, I can do this 2 to 3 times. But when I wake up in the morning, I'll be so tired. I really need help. I am facing hell on earth. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from Anonymous. Yani, she is going through a lot. She is saying that each and every night she is forced to do masturbation so that she can just fall asleep. She can't fall asleep if she doesn't do this thing of pleasing herself using her finger. Please let us speak with her in the comment section.